Good morning. Today I'm visiting with Pam Wornkey, the Register of Deeds for the Barton County Courthouse. And I've told constituents before that one of the things that I wanted to do is cover all that the county has to offer. And one of the hidden gems that the county has is its Register of Deeds office. And today, Pam Wornkey, my friend, and our Register of Deeds is visiting with me. And we're going to tell you some things that you may know, but a lot of things that you don't know. And Pam, as I've told you before, I just admire everything that you guys do. But a lot of times the public doesn't realize how important it is. You think registered deeds, okay, I record my deed and I might be able to get a passport there and some things like that. But they just don't understand all that the Registered Deeds office does and how much it relates to the rest of the courthouse. So I always tell Pam that she's the hub. She is the most important part of the courthouse because without the Registered Deeds office, nothing else happens. You can't have appraisals, you can't have tax statements, you can't do anything without recording it somewhere. So I was hoping that today during our time that we visit, maybe if you could just explain what it means to record something, how far back the records go, and what a person does when they come into the office mainly.
Okay, thanks for having me first, and I'm glad to be here and let the public and constituents know what my office does. Like Barb said, we're a small office and usually we are overlooked, but we are a very important part of the county because what is in my office is the beginning point to tax rolls, taxation, and ownership, and the other three offices on the second floor of the county. So it does always kind of start with my office, and it starts with the ownership of property and proving that you own property. And that was very important, you know, in the colonial days because the people that came over here were not allowed to own property. So they knew the importance of not only owning it, but being able to prove that you owned it was very important to them. So that's why they set up the small offices as the United States grew west. They set up the deeds offices, and the deeds office was actually all 4 offices in the beginning.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes, it was.
Very interesting.
So they, as the population then grew, they divided out the deeds office into the appraiser and clerk and taxation. But in the very beginning, it was the land office.
Land office.
The land office is what it was.
Land management.
And I think that would probably be a good name for our office because we do more than just record the deed to your property. We are land management. We do mortgages, oil and gas, easements, right-of-ways, annexations for cities. If they're going to annex land, then that's all needs to be recorded in my office, and it's put of public record so that anybody that comes into my office to do any of that research, like the attorneys or abstract companies, landmen for oil and gas, there's just a lot of banks that come in to do that research in my office.
And your office is the only place that you can go to find out who owns minerals, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They're not kept anywhere else. I know there's some statutes and some counties have them in the clerks and tax them, but we don't.
No.
And so that your office is the only place they can find that information.
That's correct. And they can find out how much of that mineral interest they own. Not just owning minerals, but how much.
Yeah.
You know, because it could be 1/8 if the family had 8 kids and they divided it all. So.
And very interesting. And I know that in the Register of Deeds office, and this is something people don't like to do oftentimes, but when you buy a house, they have to fill out a certificate of value saying what they paid for it and telling about the sale, that then in turns goes over to the appraiser's office. Since I work there, I know that. But a lot of times people don't want to give that information. So do you have very many people come in upset, or are you guys pretty able to explain things to people and what they need when they come into the office?
We just explain to them that we're statutorily required to collect that information for the appraiser's office. And the information is sent from our office to the appraiser's office. And if they want to know what information is used or how that information is used, then they could walk over to the appraiser's office and ask.
Yeah.
About the only thing that they really have question about is, do I have to put down the real price because they're just going to tax me on it?
Yeah, they think it's going to get like a sales tax or something.
Yes, they think they're going to be taxed on whatever amount they put on that sales validation questionnaire, and I assure them that that's not what it's used for. That everything will be okay, and
they fill it out.
Then they fill it
now,
out.
you can also get passports in your office, correct?
You can. That is an extra service that we do for the constituents of the county. We're not required in any way to do that. It's not really part of the deeds
what
job.
What a deeds has to do.
Yes, it's just an extra service that our office offers, because I think it's a good service to offer the general public.
Pam, what does it cost to file a deed, or are there different prices, or what is the basic cost if I bought property and I wanted to come in and file a quick claim deed or something like that?
Our pricing is governed by legislation.
Okay. Legislation, hard to say today.
And the state sets our prices.
Okay.
So it's $21 for the first page and $17 for each additional page per document, and the writing on the front and back of one sheet of paper is considered 2 pages.
Okay.
Now, if it's a mortgage release or something like that, then that's a little cheaper, but any instrument of writing is $21 and $17.
Okay, and it seems like years ago people used to say that they would file report cards and things. Do we have anything like grades or report cards filed anywhere?
Yes, in fact, I have all of the school records from 1872 to like 1965.
Wow.
Before the school was
like automated?
Unitized.
Unitized. Okay.
And when they become unitized, then they send it to the central district.
Central district,
But before that, when we had the 105 country schools out in the county, they would have to send their records to the deeds office. And yes, if you ever come in there, Barb, look at that big old cabinet over on the left.
It has
and that's where all of my school records are.
Because you can file anything. If there's something that's important to me, I could come in and file it, and it would be on record, right? I mean, it may not be anything that's so important as far as land management, but it's just something that is very important. Can you file it there?
I can only record the documents that meet my parameters.
Okay, so there are parameters set out.
There are parameters, there are statutes, there are laws, and that are things that I can record, and things that I can't record. So I do have barriers.
Okay, well, and I love the idea. We're going to put some pictures. Pam's going to take us over, and we'll put some pictures out there of the books and what they look like, and they're a little intimidating to me, but someone like Pam can pull them out and find a property just very quickly. It's neat.
We do have people that come in to do genealogical research.
Yeah.
And they'll come in and they'll say, my grandpa owned this farm, and we can go back to our records and look in the direct and indirect books and find their name. Then we can go out and find the property, and then we'll go to the map and show them exactly where Grandma's farm was.
Neat.
And that's kind of a fun thing that we do.
Service that
it's
you
a
get
fun
to
service
provide.
that we do.
Well, I know when the oil prices were really sky high, and there was a time that there were just people lined up out in the hallway to get in and look at the books and for oil things. But I too like it when somebody comes from out of town and they're doing some family research and genealogy and. But anyway, well, I think, why don't we go over and we'll take a picture of the books, and then just for everybody to know, I would like you to stay tuned because we may follow up with Pam. If people have additional comments, concerns, let us know. And then also we'll move into the county clerks and the treasurer, everybody's favorite right now since tax bills are just coming out and we have to pay those. And so stay tuned and have a wonderful day.